Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We love turning these complex stacks of sources into something clear, something you can really use.
Absolutely.
And today, wow, we're diving into something pretty profound. Our sources talk about the 5 parts of the soul's vision.
That's right.
It sounds theoretical, but it's really about how we see everything, how we perceive, how we think, from just, physical stuff right up to spiritual insights.
Exactly. And our mission here really is to make this practical for you. How do you perceive reality? Can you cultivate maybe clearer thought and maybe unlock some deeper knowledge? It's about enhancing your daily life, really, by looking at how you look at the world.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So these 5 layers, nefesh, ruach, neshama, chayah, and yechidah.
Yeah.
They ascend, right? Each one a different way of seeing.
Correct. Ascending layers. And we really need to start with the foundations because clarity there is key for everything else.
Makes sense. Start at the beginning.
So nefesh, that's the most basic level. It's like seeing the individual letters before you see the word, or the basic tools.
Okay.
Take a computer. Nefesh is just seeing the plastic, the screen, the wires, the chips. You see the components, the physical vessels, how they exist together.
There's the raw building blocks.
Pretty much, yeah. Recognizing them, but maybe not the full purpose just yet.
Got it. So very tangible. Then comes ruach. The sources call it a spiritual awakening. How does that work day to day? Is it like finding purpose and, washing the dishes?
Well, maybe. It's about learning from everything, good and bad, using all your senses. It's that spark you can find.
Oh, okay.
So less intellectual acknowledgement, more feeling an awakening. A drive. You feel inspired to connect, maybe. It sparks love, awe.
Right.
Those letters from nefesh, now they start spelling something meaningful to your spirit.
That's a big shift. Okay, moving up again. Neshama. Perceiving divine glory. That sounds lofty. How do you see that in a normal conversation or like a tough day at work?
It is lofty, but it's also meant to be accessible. Neshama is seeing God's inherent glory in everything.
In everything.
Yes. The source quotes, "All that is called by my name, for my glory I created it." It means seeing the inherent honor, the purpose, the sort of fundamental goodness built into existence. So yeah, maybe not just in grand moments, but in the design of a leaf, or someone's resilience, or even a well-run meeting. Seeing why it exists, its inherent value.
Seeing the why. Okay, from letters to meaning to inherent glory. Now this next one, Chayah, you said this is where it gets really interesting.
It does. Chayah is about seeing the inherent intellect or wisdom, chokmah, the sources call it, in everything.
Wisdom, like seeing the intelligence behind things.
Exactly. The source says, you made them all with wisdom. It's not just abstract understanding. It's perceiving the deep wisdom woven right into creation in the details.
Okay, the sources have this cup and water analogy to help here.
Right, do. It's a great one.
So nefesh is just seeing the cup or the water. Neshama might see the glory in the materials. But chayah, that's seeing the wisdom of the cup holding the water, the function, the design working together.
Precisely. It's how they interact meaningfully. Like a shoemaker just naturally sees the wisdom in how a shoe is built.
Or a roofer looking at roofs.
Exactly. Someone in a state of chayah instinctively looks for that inherent wisdom, that intelligent design everywhere.
So you might see the wisdom in, traffic patterns or how a city is laid out.
Yes, you're seeing the logic, the purpose, how things work together, not just the parts, not just feeling inspired, but seeing the intelligent orchestration.
Right.
And what's really different about chayah and the next level, yechidah, is they're called all-encompassing lights, or makif,
Right.
meaning it's not just flashes of insight. It's meant to be a continuous state. Imagine living where wisdom is just palpably present, always.
A constant state.
A pervasive light of perception, yeah. Not just intermittent bursts, or makif.
That sounds incredible, but also incredibly difficult. The sources say chayah needs constant thought, an undiverted mind. How is that even possible for, most of us?
You're right. It's a huge challenge. It is rare, usually linked to, highly righteous people. But the texts say we can cultivate it. Through deliberate contemplation, consciously looking for the wisdom in daily life, connecting what we learn intellectually to what we actually see.
So it takes real sustained effort.
Sustained focus, exactly. Pushing against our mind's tendency to just wander off.
Okay, so if chayah needs this constant waking focus, what about sleep? That's like a third of our lives where our conscious mind is off duty. Is that just lost time? Or is there potential there?
Oh, great question. And no, it's not lost time, not potentially anyway.
Right.
This is where the Vilna Gaon, the Gra, offers amazing insight.
Okay.
He taught that some of the deepest understandings, things that escape us when we're awake and busy, can actually be grasped at night, in dreams.
Really? How does that work?
Well, the idea is, during the day, our body, all the physical stuff, the noise, it kind of overshadows the soul's deeper perception.
Right, distractions.
Exactly. So when the body rests, the soul is, in theory, freer. It can reveal higher knowledge.
Most dreams aren't exactly profound insights, are they? Mine are usually just weird.
Huh. Exactly. For most people, sleep means the imagination runs wild, right? Fantastical stuff. That's because the body's imaginative faculty, if it's not, let's say, disciplined during the day.
It takes over when the intellect sleeps.
Precisely. It just creates chaos. But here's the chayah advantage.
Oh, okay.
Someone who has developed that constant intellect, that chayah clarity, they bring it into sleep, the intellect stays active, it sort of guides or subdues the wild imagination.
So it leads to clearer dreams.
More than clear. It leads to awareness within sleep. The mind uses imagination not for fantasy, but as a tool, a clear lens to receive higher truths.
Wow.
It's a bit like how prophets were said to use a purified imagination, one totally guided by intellect to receive prophecy.
Okay, that makes sense.
And this connects to what the Rambam said, that a person acquires most of their Torah, their deep knowledge, at night. It's not just quiet study time, it's this potential for internal revelation in sleep.
Sleep as a space for revelation.
Yeah.
If you've done the work. Okay. So we've covered seeing. Let's shift to thinking. The sources link thought, Makshava, really closely to this deep seeing, Iyun. This next part is about building clear thought, right? An Olam Barur.
Exactly. A clear world. That's the core internal work here. Because the problem, the sources say, is most of us live in an aerophel, an unclear world.
Meaning
Imprecision. In language, like how often we say like around, approximately, imprecise thought, imprecise action, it creates a sort of mental fog.
Can you give an example of this imprecision?
Sure. There's a story about Rabbi Chanok Wasserman. He had a study appointment for 7:00 sharp. The other person showed up at 7:01.
1 minute late. Okay.
And Rabbi Wasserman asked if there'd been an unavoidable accident because deviating even by a minute from the exact plan was unexpected.
Wow, that's strict.
It seems extreme, but it shows the commitment to Olam Barur, to exactness. Or think about driving a car that's exactly the width of the road,
No.
even being off by a few inches. Disaster. It shows how small imprecisions in our thinking or planning can have really big consequences.
Okay, so why should we care about being that precise? Isn't that a bit rigid for everyday life? What does this look like practically?
It's not about rigidity for its own sake. It's about being grounded in reality. And this clarity, even at the basic nefesh level, has immediate practical uses, starting with self-awareness.
How so?
Truly knowing your limits. How much work can you actually do? How much sleep do you really need, not just wish you needed?
Guilty. I definitely overestimate my capacity sometimes.
We all do, and that leads to burnout, stress, projects half-finished. It connects to that idea of the end of action and initial thought.
Yeah.
Plan properly, know your capacity before you start. Don't quit halfway because you weren't realistic.
Right, planning based on reality, not wishful thinking.
Exactly. And it hits finances, too. Think about how many people need coaches just for basic budgeting.
Yeah, it's a huge industry.
It points to a lack of, percent's understanding of their own financial reality. Often living for next month, right? Spending money they imagine they'll have. Rabbi Dessler called that living in an imagined reality. The Rambam taught match spending to actual income. Ancient wisdom, very modern problem.
It really does seem to boil down to facing reality squarely, even for, like, a vacation.
Absolutely. That good vacation example, instead of just, it was good, be precise. Okay, 99% was great, but 1% was, annoying or difficult. Acknowledge both. Don't let your imagination just smooth over the bumps.
Okay.
Because the sources are clear. Truth, emet, means living in reality. Falsehood, sheker, is living outside it in that unclear, foggy state.
Like speaking truth in one's heart, as Rav Safra said. It starts inside.
It has to start inside. Building this clear world begins with the basics.
Yeah.
Your body, your schedule, your money. If your external life is chaotic and imprecise, it's very hard to build a clear internal spiritual world on top of that.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But wait, if clarity is so crucial, does that mean we should just disconnect from anything messy or imprecise? Should we, like, retreat into a perfectly ordered bubble, away from community, current events, all that?
That's a really important question. And no, that's not the idea at all. It's about a very delicate balance.
Balance.
We have to engage with the world's reality community, what's happening, to build that foundational nefesh understanding properly. You need the raw data of reality.
Okay.
But the key is not getting attached to the material side of it in your soul. So it's not about being ignorant, like not knowing about viruses or economic issues.
Right.
But it's also not about getting completely swept away by politics or investments until they totally dominate your inner world.
So engaged but not consumed. How did the rabbis you mentioned manage that?
Well, we have examples. Rabbi Dov Povarsky listened to the news daily. Rabbi Hutner read old newspapers. They weren't doing it for, personal gain or distraction.
They were understanding the world.
To understand people's lives, the context, so they could guide effectively. For us, maybe, it means a nuanced awareness, gathering reality, processing it, but consciously keeping your soul detached from being defined or consumed by it.
Gathering reality without soul attachment. That sounds subtle.
It is subtle. Profound inner work. It requires this equilibrium, the sources call it ratzon vishav, running and returning, run towards engagement, gather the data, then consciously return to spiritual focus and detachment. It's a dance.
Constant balancing act. Okay. And that brings us finally back to the peak, yechidah. We went from components to inspiration to glory to wisdom. How does yechidah cap all this?
What's really amazing here is that nefesh, ruach, neshama, chayah, they all operate within boundaries, within creation.
Right, seeing things in the world.
Yechidah transcends those boundaries. This is the vision of the ultimate one, yechidah, the infinite light or Ein Sof of the Creator, beyond all limits, physical or conceptual.
So not just wisdom in things, but the source, the infinite oneness behind it all.
That's the idea. Perceiving that infinite light that encompasses everything. Seeing the Ein Sof as the fundamental reality.
How does one even perceive that?
Well, the sources suggest it can come through an incredibly purified internal imagination. Like the prophets, your inner vision becomes so clear, so refined, it can apprehend the boundless unity underlying all the distinct things we normally see.
Wow, the ultimate vision, seeing the one.
It's the culmination, yes, where all distinctions kind of melt away into the unity of the source.
What a journey. Through these 5 levels, basic perception, seeing the glory, the wisdom with chayah, and finally this glimpse of the infinite with yechidah. And that thread running through it, the need for Olam Barur, clear thought.
It's a powerful framework, isn't it? And yeah, reaching yechidah might seem very distant. But the path starts right here, with concrete daily practice, precision, clarity, in your time, your money, your words, your self-assessment.
The mundane stuff is the groundwork.
It's the essential groundwork. That clarity in the physical is what clears the space for the deeper spiritual and intellectual insights to emerge.
So here's a final thought for you listening. If truth is simply reality and falsehood is living outside it, what if you aimed for just 1% more precision today? In your thoughts, your words, your actions. How might that bring you 1% closer to living in an authentic, clear world? Something to think about.
Definitely something to think about.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.